Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another entry of Say It With Me Now, the Self-Made the Labels, Self-Made Sports Networks Friday Night Live series, brought to you and hosted by, as always, Hybrid Shows and Promotions. I am Slim, as always. I am joined with my brother, JT. JT, how are you doing tonight?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited for this show. We put some work into the show. We put some planning into the show, and excited to have a good time with y'all.
Absolutely. Before we get into anything tonight, I want to bring on a new special guest, who I've worked near and dear with over the last couple years. He's got some exciting things to promote for the hybrid and the self-made the label. I guess you could call them productions, shows, hostings, whatever. Welcome to the stage, my boy, Hybrid.
Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good. Living the life. Can't complain.
I need to give you the bigger space. I don't know how to do that yet.
No, you're good.
Oh, there you go.
You got it.
That's how we do it.
So we got some exciting stuff coming up. October 13th, which is a Monday. It's going to be next Monday after this Monday. We have the No Blueprints tour with Stevie Stone and the Adhees family. We have a whole bunch of special guests, including Sway Boy, Salee, Bacon the General, and then for opening artists, I believe we have Be Positive,
Yes, sir.
Jamie Triller, K&R, Brody One, Chubbs Bumperson, and then Chris Rose and Pun. So that'll be that show, and that will be again on Monday, October 13th.
Hey, so before we move on to the next one, I gotta tell you gotta tell Chubbs to drop that last name. I think you should. I
thought it was good. That's a great name, Bumper. That was.
I mean, I feel like it fits him.
It's great. I love it.
That's funny.
All right, and then let him know about this and tell him what's going on with this and what potentially could be won with some prizes here.
So this will be our very first costume party on Halloween. Actually, on Halloween. A lot of local artists, mainly the Self-Made Hybrid crew, and then we have some special guests coming through to perform. The best outfit has a chance of winning $50 at the end of the night, which I think is pretty dope.
Well, you might as well give me the $50 now because I'm going to win.
Right. Now we'll see. I mean, I hope everyone participates and dresses up. So.
It's gonna be really embarrassing when I perform in a full IV costume with a hospital gown and I got my ass hanging out.
So of course, as you can see on the screen, we have Be Positive, we have Brody, we have Crooks, we got Saban St. Cloud, we have SJ23 Slim.
Yes,
we
sir.
have Ash from the Past, one of our newest signed artists. We have Mark Patrick and Justin Pickett. And then
shout out to the boy Mark Patrick real quick.
Right
there.
No, he's lit, bro.
A true battle back from the grave story.
Right.
Now, I love to see something like that.
Yes, sir. And then we have special guest Loud Pack ENT. It's a group of like 4 or 5 guys. They're gonna come and tear shit down. One of them is from Lincoln. I think the rest are from Omaha, so it should be a pretty good show out. So
really?
Yes, sir.
All right. Remind them again what the best costume wins, and you don't have to necessarily perform to win this costume.
No, you do not. It could be anyone in the building.
In general, yes.
Right, anyone in the building. So you will win $50 at the end of the night if you are best dressed. So make sure you show up and you dress to impress.
And there may be some extra prizes involved depending on how good your costume looks.
True.
So you can't win if you're not there. So
right.
Once again, a quick shout out to Hybrid Promotions for sponsoring what we do here.
Yes, sir.
we appreciate everything you do for us. I hope you appreciate everything we do for you.
Of course I do.
Love, brother. I'm wishing the best for you tomorrow with the Skurs.
Yeah, right. It's going to be tough. We'll see how it goes.
So we appreciate you coming on real quick and
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
give that promotion. Much love, brother. I'll be
Of
talking
course.
to you here shortly. As always, much love, much respect.
Much love, brothers.
All right. JT, should we bring on our next?
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause
Our
I kind of wanted
next
to
guest.
kick off a little NFL.
All right. So let's set the scene real quick. I am a big Rams fan, and the next guy we're going to bring on is a Bang Bang Niner Gang day one. Hold me down. Let's welcome to the stage Young Bakes.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother? I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
I would have been doing a little better if we would have pulled out a win last night. But we can't all have nice things.
Yeah, it was most definitely a tough game, man. It was anybody's game last night, so I'm glad my guys were able to pull it out.
Let me go ahead and pull something to the stage for everybody real quick. If you didn't catch it, the Niners pulled out a 26-23 victory in overtime against the Rams. The Rams went for it on 4th and short inside the 30-yard line last night. Did not get it. They took the ball out of Matt Stafford's hands. I've seen a bunch of damning posts on Kyren Williams today. I'm not gonna divulge on what those posts have said, but damn, fumbling inside the fucking 1-yard line. You can't do that. And I know I said I wasn't gonna cuss, but come on, bro.
That's what I wanted to start off with, is that as a Rams fan, I was kind of wondering what was going through your head when Sean McVay decided to go for it. I mean, obviously trying to put out of your mind the result. How did you feel about the decision to go for it there on 4th and 1 with a couple minutes left in overtime, as opposed to kicking the field goal?
I'd go for it 100 times because at that point you're looking at either going for a tie or you're playing to lose. So I would rather be aggressive and go for the win. We're gonna get into Iowa State here later in the program, but you've seen Matt Campbell numerous times here in the last couple of years kind of throw caution to the wind and go for it rather than play conservative. And if one thing about Sean McVay, he's gonna be aggressive at all times, and he's not gonna play to lose. So I would rather not play to lose and be 3-2 right now than, I mean, if circumstances happen other ways, the Rams win this game, 27-23 before it even gets to overtime. So, you already squandered your opportunity to win the game. I just don't like the fact that they took the ball out of Stafford's hands and they decided to hand the ball off. Nacua is currently on pace for a record-breaking season, which coincidentally is Matt Stafford's 3rd quarterbacking season for potentially record-breaking receivers right now. The first being obviously Calvin Johnson. The second being Cooper Kupp. Just a couple years ago, and now Nacua, who is currently on pace at this moment for about 15,000 catches and almost 2,000 yards, it seems like. So I guess
what I wanted to kind of follow up on that question is, I think kind of 9 times out of 10 I would agree with the decision to go for it there and play to win and play not to lose. But the one kind of interesting factor that I want to kind of throw out to you guys and see what you think is that last possession, Mac Jones was getting the shit beat out of him. Like he got sacked on that last play. It looked like he was like literally he was gagging. I don't know if he actually threw up, but like he got sacked so hard that he was like gagging on the sidelines. And so I'm wondering if there was any thought to, let's go ahead and kick the field goal, give the ball back to an extremely compromised Mac Jones and hope for a turnover, a quick 3-and-out. That's the one interesting thing that I thought it kind of threw a wrench into the equation there.
I'm actually going to go ahead and let Bakes take this question here.
Well, I look at it like the time of possession, the whole entire game. We dominated it.
Yes.
40-26.
Yes.
Do you think about that? You guys averaged more yards, you know what I'm saying, per play, which I'll give it to you. You guys' offense was a little more exciting than ours. But we're playing with the backup quarterback. You're playing with the seasoned veteran. So
I don't know.
Expected.
Hey,
Running game on both sides were semi-pedestrian.
I don't want to cut you off, but Mac Jones did look like an MVP caliber quarterback last night at certain points, especially throwing the ball to Kendrick Bourne. I was very impressed with how he looked. If that's your backup, that's not the backup
he's a professional.
10 years ago.
He's a professional. He's been a starter in this league before, but he's also been forgotten about in this league before. So,
yes,
I like what he did. He's a true professional. Just like you said, towards the end of the game, he looked like he was all beat up and kind of wounded. But, I mean, as a collective unit, the 49ers wanted it more, and they proved it.
Well, I would, before I comment on anything in the game, I would say the crowd definitely proved they wanted the 49ers to win. As a lifelong Rams fan, I went down to a bunch of games in St. Louis growing up. It's the glitz and glamour of LA, and you got the multi-billion-dollar stadium that they play in, but that was not a home game for the Rams on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
I don't know if
crazy.
you guys listen to the crowd. That was probably 75-25. It's a destination place for the NFL at this point. And I really think we got to kind of address that, because nobody goes to St. Louis to watch the Niners play the Rams, but everyone from San Francisco makes that trip down to LA to watch them play in maybe the most expensive stadium in the NFL. And it's been that way for almost 5 years now.
Well, you think about the last 5 years, both teams played each other very, very tough over the years.
Yes.
Both of them been fighting for primacy.
Playoff games,
heavy,
rivalry.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I got a lot of respect for the Rams. I got a lot of respect for McVay. When it just comes down to it, man, you guys didn't run enough plays. We were equal on first downs. Both teams got 27 first downs. But we ran 83 plays. You guys ran 64.
Yeah, and you're never gonna win a game running 64 plays if you can't punch it in. And like I said, that fumble.
Not saying at some points you guys didn't deserve to win the game, because at some point you guys will look like you guys wanted to win that game.
Well,
but when it came down to
deserve to win the game because Williams fumbled on the 1 yard line. You're never gonna win a game if you fumble on the 1 yard line and you lose by 3. Let's be real.
I understand. Well, you look at fourth down efficiency. We went 3 for 3 on fourth down. The fourth down you guys needed, you guys didn't convert.
Yeah. And
you guys went 2 for 3. You guys went 2 for 3, but you needed to go 3 for 3.
And the only fourth down they did not convert was the final play of the game. And it I just don't know why you take the ball out of Stafford's hands at that point. He's He went, 30 for 47 for almost 400 yards. Why would you not put the ball in his hands again? And why would you not throw it to the receiver that has almost 15 million catches at this point? Like, it just maybe they overthought it. Maybe we're overthinking it. The Rams are 3-2 right now. They should be 5-0. A blocked field goal. I'm almost positive they blocked the field goal last night against them. Can anyone confer that?
So. No, yeah, I think it was earlier in the game. Yeah.
So you're 2 blocked field goals away from being 5-0. What? I don't know. I think they're the scariest 3-2 team in the league, and I have no problem being 3-2. They could reel off 13 straight real easily. I have no problem with that. Bakes, what I'm concerned about is there a quarterback controversy?
There's most definitely not a quarterback controversy. Like I said, I'm very, very proud of Mac Jones. He's been doing a solid job, man. You really got to take your hat off to the boy.
No,
he's standing in strong.
Great.
He's making some plays.
He gutted it out last night. I know I texted UJT there late in the third quarter. He went down with a weird, it looked like a calf, ACL, maybe Achilles injury. He could barely get up off the field at one point. And I thought he was done. And he came back out the next series, and I'm almost positive they scored a touchdown after that whole ordeal. So I think he's completely re-legitimized himself as a top quarterback in the league, albeit being a backup right now, playing kind of a fire system. But
he's going to get himself an opportunity somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, at least not for the next year, because the Niners signed him to a 2-year contract. So,
yeah.
Biggs, you have anything else you want to add on to this shellacking last night? Here, you know what? Since I got the graphic, why don't we go ahead and pull this up real quick? Hold on. Sorry, everybody. We're still trying to figure out how this shit works. You're talking about Mac Jones looking nice last night. How about that, huh?
Those are some nice numbers.
Those are some nice numbers. But, it's expected. He's a professional athlete. Like, he's supposed to go out there and perform when his name is called. And I'm glad he did it for our team last night.
I don't know if you guys seen it. Orlovsky the other day just cashed in a receipt, or I guess it would have been this morning. He said if Mac Jones was in San Francisco, that he would be balling. And Rex Ryan tried to fight him up and down, saying that that's not true. And Orlovsky cashed that in today with Mac Jones' play last night. I thought he was incredible. The fact that he left the game injured, came back. I thought his season was over, and he said, "Oh no, we're coming back, and we're gonna win the game." It's incredible. He's got a long.
It sounds like you want Mac Jones to play for the Rams.
So if we're gonna circumnavigate back to a conversation I had a couple weeks ago with you guys, Mac Jones. After last night, Mac Jones is probably on Sean McVay's radar of quarterbacks that he could get for a couple late round picks and reload. Will he be a Matt Stafford? Maybe, maybe not. But with the way he looked in that offense, you got to remember Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay came from the same coaching tree. So they're essentially the same guy, but there's only one team that's got an opening quarterback spot here in the next couple years. Because I can't imagine Stafford playing till 45, and I would hope he doesn't. I know his wife hopes he does not play until he's 45.
Do you think Stafford's going to play one more year after this one?
I don't know.
Because obviously, if this is Stafford's last year, then it comes into kind of a similar conversation that the Packers have had to entertain with Malik Willis this year is you could certainly get a lot of trade value for Mac Jones, more than you would get for your typical backup quarterback. But is that worth giving up your backup quarterback? Since it's such a nice insurance policy.
So JT, I don't know if you've seen this. This is via the Sleeper app for fantasy football. There are rumors out there right now that Anthony Richardson from the Colts would be open to being relegated to the Rams roster as a developmental player with the chance to reset his career and kind of set himself on the right path.
I think that makes sense, since it looks like that Danny Dimes is kind of figuring it out there
Oh,
in Indianapolis. So, which I don't think people really saw coming. So yeah,
Nobody
I think
saw that
makes
coming.
sense for Anthony Richardson to move on to somewhere else and kind of be a developmental piece. So yeah, I guess that'll be kind of interesting to see who ends up winning that Anthony Richardson sweepstakes.
All right, so the last question I got for the two of you before we move on, we'll get to the Packers Monday night or Sunday night shocker, damn near Monday night shocker or Monday morning shocker. What do you two think if there is a trade involved with Anthony Richardson? What do you think? What do you think the return haul would have to be? JT, we'll start with you, and then Bakes, I'll let you follow in. I have no comment on this, so I'm curious to hear what you guys would say.
I mean, I would probably say maybe like a third or fourth round pick, and I base that off of I'd mentioned before Malik Willis. I thought that I'd heard, I could be wrong, that the Bengals were sniffing around Malik Willis, and I think that they had offered a second round pick for Malik Willis. So, I mean, obviously you can consider that Willis is a lot better option than Richardson at this point. I'd probably say if the Colts could get a third or fourth round pick out of Richardson, I think you got to pull a trigger on that.
Do you think it's conditional, or do you think it's a straight up?
I don't know. That's where I'm not smart enough of a football mind. That's where it gets kind of confusing. Yeah, I know. I kind of like in the NBA. I don't know how those executives keep track of what's protected and top 10 protected. It gets. I just don't have the mind to answer that. So I'll just tell you in straight up picks, how straight up picks are concerned. You look at a third or fourth round pick. But I guess, yeah. I mean, if you condition it off of Richardson's play, upgrade it to a second or something like that. But I guess I don't know. I don't exactly know how they look at that, and I can't pretend to be able to know how to break down a conditional draft pick.
Well, I'll give it to you on the Willis. He actually had a couple of games last year when he stepped in, and he looked very, very nice.
Yeah.
And Richardson, ever since he called himself out of that play, and then he just got ridiculed and benched and all that. I just feel like he's just a young man, just trying to figure it out. NFL is very, very serious. They want students. They want people who know the playbook in and out. They want someone who's really going to study and put it in the work.
Absolutely.
Someone to command the offense. And the reason why he didn't get the job is because he needs to mature a little bit. He needs to grow up.
Yeah, well, kind of the same situation as Trey Lance found himself in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now look at him.
Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth.
He had a very nice preseason out of nowhere. That's Harbaugh, though. Harbaugh will do it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, Harbaugh plays win now football, and if you're not ready to win now, then you have no spot on my team, basically. And I mean, you got to give it to him. Granted, they kind of blew it last week, but I mean, they're 3-1 going into week 5, and okay, I don't have any graphics for this, but what the hell is going on with Quentin Jefferson or Quentin Johnson? What he might as well be Quentin Jefferson at this point because he's kind of emerged out of a guy that can't even look at a football to a guy that is suddenly making pro image worth catches.
Well, opportunity knocks. It sounds like he's trying to make some noise. I mean, it's not hard to be productive when you got the opportunity.
Yeah, but over with the drops he's had over the last 4 or 5 years,
but as a pro
and,
athlete, you don't worry about the drops. You worry about the next catch. Forget that drop. You gotta have a short memory.
yeah, that's a good point. We saw Marvin Harrison do it last week, kind of coming back from his first couple drops in that game. I can't remember what night it had to have been. A Sunday night game or a late afternoon game on Sunday last week. He had a couple drops early, and
Yeah.
they came back and ended up winning that game solely because of a couple of catches that he made.
Yeah, he did make some very, very nice catches towards the end of that game.
All right, JT, we're gonna jump into your full analysis here of the pack.
Yeah. So that's
how first of all, how do you feel about this score sitting on the screen? Are you happy about it? Do you feel relieved? Are you disappointed? What's going through your mind?
I think you have to be disappointed. I mean, with how poor they were playing during the game, you kind of feel relieved. You feel that you kind of got away with one. But yeah, just another game where the Packers look very defeatable after the first 2 games. You know, you're talking about being undefeated and things like that. Just a situation where that offensive line still doesn't look great. But really, it wasn't surprising that the offensive line didn't look great. I think what got a lot of the attention was certainly that last possession in overtime by the Packers, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But certainly the most surprising thing was seeing this defense shit the bed. It's just not something that you had expected considering the previous week's performance. Like, even when the Packers didn't play very well against the Browns, the defense was still on lock. And ultimately, what it came down to, in my opinion, it's something
was a block kick.
Yeah, I guess what I was going to say is something that I had talked about earlier is how poor this Packers secondary is, specifically those cornerbacks. We finally had the first game where those cornerbacks got exposed. You saw that George Pickens just cooked the Packers secondary. Nate Hobbs has not looked very good. Keyshawn Nixon has looked okay. Xavier McKinney's on a milk carton. Evan Williams has actually looked pretty good, but it just finally could come to roost that Packers secondary. There's just not a whole lot of talent there, and clearly I think kind of the only hope that we had for this secondary was that the defensive line, that the rush would get there quick enough that it really wouldn't matter who's back there. And yeah, like you said, there's also a special teams factor. I mean, just having a PAT get blocked, and obviously more importantly, having that getting returned for 2. And honestly, I know it technically was a 3-point swing, which ended up being the difference in the game.
That's the shitty part.
I don't get quite caught up in the math of it. What I thought was more critical from that play was that it was a clear turning point in the game. It's where the momentum shifted. The Packers were cooking. They would have been up 14-0, and they were looking really good. And it's just that there's a really big difference from being up 14-0 versus being up 13-2.
It sucks the life out of the air for the team, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. It's just you're kind of shell shocked, and like I said, that like the score difference, I don't think is that big of a deal. It happened early enough in the game that you can make up for it, and
Absolutely.
it doesn't really matter. It all comes down to the momentum, and certainly the talk of the town in Green Bay was obviously the Packers special team coach is a rather high profile special teams coach, at least as far as special teams coaches are concerned. That's Rich Bisaccia, who was the Oakland Raiders head coach a while back. I think he might have just been an interim coach even. I know there's been lots of calls for Bisaccia to get kicked to the curb, but yeah, that's and ultimately I think the special teams concern is probably just an iteration of the offensive line concerns, because obviously when your field goals are getting blocked, it's because your linemen are getting ran through. The linemen
Right.
that are playing on your offense are for the most part the same linemen that are playing on your field goal unit. So I don't really know enough about the X's and O's special teams to know what Rich Bisaccia can do, or if it's truly his fault. But yeah, it really came back to haunt them. Although they kind of got it figured out later in the game. There's at least two high profile kicks that they had to make, and certainly the Packers have a very good field goal unit, the 3-man unit with the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. I feel like they're finally set in there.
We can
with
get into the
McDaniels.
conversation maybe here in the next couple of weeks of why suddenly that's become a big thing for us here in the Midwest. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll say, and then I'll kick it over to you guys, and we can move on if you want to, if nobody else has anything. Getting to kind of the main discussion point of this game was just that horrid last possession in overtime. It just didn't feel like that there was any urgency.
What's up with this clock management? I'm glad you said that, because what's up with this clock management with LaFleur? Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but partially I just think obviously there was a change to the overtime rules where both teams, for the most part, get guaranteed a possession. I know that there was some talk on Pro Football Talk about technically both teams aren't guaranteed a possession, but possession.
I mean,
essentially they are guaranteed. Each team is guaranteed a possession. But the thing is that since those overtime periods are only 10 minutes long, that second possession for the team that decided to get the ball second, it can end up being a pretty short possession. And it's certainly a tightrope that the Packers had to walk. And certainly they just played it wrong, where you want to take up enough of the clock where if you do end up having to kick a field goal, you don't want to give the Cowboys a bunch of time.
Right.
But also you need to.
You have to put the ball in the fucking end zone.
Yeah.
I know I said I wasn't going to cuss. I'm sorry, Biggs, but you have to put the ball in the end zone, and we've seen it with the Rams last night. You have, if you're going to, and the Rams kind of did it right. They said, we're not playing for a tie. We're not going to give you the ball back with 3 minutes to go in overtime. We're going to go for the win. Now, did they make the right play call? No. They took the ball out of Stafford's hands and decided to put it. I'm not gonna say what I really want to call him, because Kyron Williams did me huge justice in a couple fantasy leagues last night. But why would you take the ball out of the guy that has produced all of the points tonight, essentially? And it's not a tush push. It's not a QB sneak. I think it was 4th and 2, 4th and 1. The Packers kind of were the opposite of that. They kind of went down the field laissez-faire, and you almost feel like that about halfway through that drive that they had conceded the game, and they were like, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and play for the tie.
Yeah, I don't know. There were certainly some puzzling decisions. There was a couple of screen passes that were run that got blown up, and a couple of times where they literally ran the ball.
Screen pass.
I hate the screen pass. And obviously for those and the screenplay is the screen pass. The Packers have historically had a lot of success with it, especially even dating back to Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. They would run these very high percentage screen passes that were almost like run plays essentially. But yeah, it's hard to obviously Matt LaFleur is the coach and he's to blame. I really think that very last play, though, I think
Well,
Jordan
they tied,
Love
so you can't
needs
necessarily
to do a
blame them.
little.
They
Well, yeah, no, I am
didn't
gonna blame them.
lose the game.
But they didn't win the game, and it was his fault. And I'm going to blame him for
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
But I think it's tough because I like to defend Jordan Love. I think he's the real deal, and ultimately he had a really, really excellent game.
I do
Probably
too.
the one of his
I do
best games.
too.
But he just needs to be better that last play. He needs to kind of see the forest through the trees, realize this isn't going to happen, and realize that he needs to get to the line and spike the ball, because that decision to try to get that last play off was just awful, and it almost blew up in their faces. You usually don't see. I thought that the timekeeper was very favorable to the Packers, allowing that 1 second to stay on the clock. I don't know how that worked. I don't know if that's something that could have been reviewed. I was kind of worried about that, but because I think a lot of what happened there was because of the rules.
They got too comfortable.
Because of the rules of when a coach is allowed to talk into the player's headset during those last 15 seconds, Matt LaFleur would have not been in Jordan Love's ear, and so essentially it was all Jordan deciding what to do there. Because that communication cuts off at 15 seconds. And so obviously if there's less than 15 seconds left in the game, you're not going to have your coach in your ear. So I'm sure Matt LaFleur wanted to get that ball clocked and just kind of concede the field goal, which at that moment was the correct decision. And I just think that it comes back to, I mean, Jordan Love's a competitor. He wants to win the game, and he just made I don't know if, it's probably not fair to call it an ego decision, but just kind of an overconfident decision. But yeah, I know I kind of ran on there, but the Packers, at the end of the day, the Packers were very lucky to come out with a tie. That they have a lot of things to get figured out.
I'm gonna go the Rasheed Wallace angle. Both teams played hard. If you think about offensively, you guys were extremely efficient throughout the whole entire game. You guys ran 79 plays. Your third down efficiency was 10 of 14. Your fourth down efficiency, 1 of 1. You guys had 32 first downs. You guys led the game in passing. You guys led in rushing.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, and like like you said, both teams. I do have to give credit to the Cowboys because the Cowboys looked alive. I mean, I have to give them some credit because they were kind of walking into this season kind of thinking it would be a throwaway season because they traded away Parsons. I thought Dak Prescott looked really good. Probably one of the
the
best.
He was out there styling. He was out there styling.
He looked like the Dak Prescott that we've seen 5 years ago.
Yeah, he was like Samuel L. Jackson in Resurrection of the Champ. Like he was out there slinging it.
Yeah, he was. I mean, and especially since he didn't have CeeDee Lamb out there, kind of like Chris Collinsworth mentioned on the broadcast, it was really kind of
underrated
breakout game.
And God, whoever thought that they would have to rely on George Pickens outside of the Steelers for the last 4 years to be the best receiver on the field? And I think George Pickens has seen 5 teams in the last however many years. Just because he's not a good receiver for anybody. I mean, he's good, but he's got some attitude problems. He's a wide receiver 1 diva, but he's really a wide receiver 2, if we're gonna be real. So, and I guess now is his shot to jump up and claim his wide receiver 1 role with CD being out for the next. Is he on the IR? Can anyone confirm he's on the IR?
I guess I don't know because I think he's just dealing with like a high ankle sprain, right?
Biggs, you beat me to it. I can't. I don't know if he's on the IR or not.
All I know, I'm guessing he's not out for the. I don't know how the IR. I know there's some thing where with the IR designated to return. So all I can say is I don't think he's out for the season.
No, he's not on the IR.
So he's projected to be out at least for the next. He might come back next week. Is what I just looked up.
But
he's considered week to week.
An opportunity for George Pickens to
exactly.
I assume Pickens is on a.
He's considered week to week.
Yeah, exactly. Biggs, do you have anything else you want to add on JT's tie party?
No, like I said, I think both teams play hard. It was really kind of hard to determine when to win the game. Both teams went out there and took it to each other the best way they could. So
I
I
feel
thought it
like
was a very
nobody wanted to
entertaining
win that
game.
game.
I mean, you technically tie is not a loss. So I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If we're speaking objectively, you
No, yeah.
are.
I mean,
If
that
the
is-
Packers-
when you look at
if-
it's
if the
beneficial
Packers
to-
can shake off the loss and the tie, if they can go out and win the next 2, 3, 4 games in a row, even just 2 in a row, it'll really bring back the confidence to the guys. I know they wanted to go undefeated, which is very, very hard to do in the NFL. But the Packers, they look really good this season, and the Cowboys might be the best 1-2-1 team in the league right now. So
They're
they're going
actually
as well.
technically 2-1-1, but I knew what you meant. We just gotta
and
make sure
the Packers
for
certainly have an
our
opportunity.
stat vultures.
They have the opportunity to kind of get right because they play the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think the Packers have probably walked into the past 2 games thinking they were kind of, not that they needed to get right at the beginning of the season, but it just kind of seems like that the Packers have been playing up or down to their competition, and they're at danger of doing that again against Cincinnati, a Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati Bengals. So obviously a team that the Packers should completely wax. And
Dude,
we'll see
I
if they
watched
do that.
Stephen A. Smith tear Zach Taylor up for how he's orchestrating the offense with his quarterbacks. He's like, you're just leaving him out there to get injured. I don't know what kind of plays you're running. Like he was going off. And
Well, Stephen A.
Zach
Smith
Taylor's
doesn't
my
understand
guy.
the concept of an
Zach
offensive
Taylor
line.
is an old
and-
Husker quarterback, and I just couldn't condone to listen to it, man. For the simple fact is Zach Taylor's done an amazing job over several seasons to prove
All
that he
right.
belongs in this league as a head coach.
Well, I'm gonna try and push us along here. I'm glad you mentioned the Huskers, and you can kind of push us into college football. I know JT is itching to get at this game tomorrow. I want to do a quick little fun game with you guys right now. Between the two of you, there are currently 20 college football teams that are undefeated. I want to see how many of these 20 teams you two can name. And you can't say Iowa State. And you can't say
Well, I can say Iowa State because they're undefeated.
Well, you could say Iowa State, but that doesn't count for a point for anybody.
Okay.
So there's 19 other teams that are undefeated right now. I want to see who can name
I like
who
this.
can
This is
name
fun.
the most teams that are undefeated right now. And don't be looking at your phones, Biggs. I see you looking off screen. Don't be looking this up.
Okay.
JT, you too. You guys gotta look me in the eyes.
I'm good. I'm with you. Let's see.
All right, I'll go first. Ohio State.
Yeah, you go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll give Ohio
Or-
State to everyone because they're undefeated. So there's 1 point for everybody.
No, you can give it to them. You can give them the point.
All right, JT, it's your turn to name a team.
Oregon.
It's your team. It's your
Oregon.
turn to name a team.
Oregon.
Yes. So 1-1. We need some music. We need some good background music for this right now. There are 9 teams left that nobody has named.
I mean, are we
Is
going
Miami
back and forth?
still
I
undefeated?
can rattle them off. Okay.
Yeah, you guys go back and forth, or if anyone's got
Okay.
someone on the tip of their tongue they want to name real quick,
No,
jump in there.
Just name them. If you got a Spitfire.
I was gonna say, but Penn State's probably undefeated, right?
No, they lost
really?
last week.
Did they?
If you can name who they lost to, I'll give you half a point.
Oh, they lost.
What
to-
about
they lost to Oregon, right?
Yes. All right. There you go.
okay.
There's a half point. That could be
Okay.
the decider. All right. So there's 4. There's 16 teams left in college football that are undefeated.
Texas Tech.
Yes. There you go. There's another one. All right.
Michigan.
No.
Who'd they lose to?
They're not on my list of teams that I have undefeated right now. I can't tell
Miami.
you- Miami is one of them. I will give a point to Miami.
Texas A&M,
Yes. I feel
Indiana
like
Hoosiers.
you're looking at the top 25 right now.
I'm not. I'm
You
just
have
thinking
to.
off the top of my head. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
All right. How
Dude,
about
I
this?
work most Saturdays.
I will cash app $10 to the
Oh,
first.
you ain't doing none of that.
No, to the
You ain't
first
doing
person.
none of that.
No, I will do it right now to the first person that names a non-power 4 team that is undefeated.
Oh, South Florida.
Incorrect.
Mm.
They lost to Miami, actually.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I was.
There's about
Texas State undefeated.
they're not on my list. This is FBS schools.
Texas State's an FBS school.
There's about well, they're not on my list. There's about 4 schools that you could name.
That are non-Power 5.
Power 4. There's only 4 power
whatever.
conferences anymore.
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Why don't you just give us a name, Robert? You can keep your 10.
All right. I'm gonna go down the list of what I'm looking at right here.
Can you give me a conference hint?
Oh, you got a list, but we can't have a list. This is crazy.
Well, this is part of the game.
Oh, okay.
No, I can't give you a Power 4 conference list because it's
I was saying, can you give me a hint as to the conference that the non-Power
no,
4
that's
team is
I
in?
can't give you that because
You don't know.
No, this app that I pulled this from that keeps track of all this does not have conference names next to it.
All
right, so I'm gonna give you the 4 most obscure names that I can read from this list. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Navy is 4-0. North Texas is 5-0.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
UNLV is 4-0.
You didn't know UNLV was in the Mountain West?
I told you I don't have this information in front of me. I'm just looking at the list of undefeated teams.
This is tough for you.
It is. I would like to shit on a 4th team, but it's all pretty much power schools after that. So basically the list that I'm looking at in front of me is Maryland, Oklahoma. Oh, here you go. Memphis. Houston, Georgia Tech, Mississippi, A&M, UNLV, Ohio State, Missouri, Miami, Indiana, Navy, the team from Ames, we call them the Iowa State Cyclones. They are currently undefeated.
We weren't supposed to mention that.
They actually, fun fact, have the possibility and the chance tomorrow to become the first team bowl eligible in college football.
Yep.
With their 11 a.m. kick. Oregon.
That week 0 performance.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
yes.
We'll get into that down the road. Oregon, North Texas, Texas Tech, BYU, Vanderbilt, Louisville.
All right.
There might be one team that I'm missing. Oh, sorry, Louisville.
Louisville.
You're gonna put some gravel in your mouth when you say their name.
That's right.
Louisville.
Bakes, do you wanna stick around for this Iowa State talk here, or do you got some other other things you want to attend to, or do you want to be here for this? Because that's what
I can be here for it.
All right, so
can you put us in that 3 You're not reading my chat, so you can put me in. Can you put us in that 3 verticals?
Oh, I see it now. Hold on, I got chats across the board. Oh, Spencer's cheating, dude. I'm not taking anything Spencer says.
What is he saying?
He said Indiana. I just seen it just now. Well, he would know that.
I can't.
He's probably an Iowa fan.
No, he's a Nebraska fan. What's wrong with you?
Spence, need you in the comments. Don't feel
Robert,
embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed.
Why would he feel embarrassed? Slim, you're outlandish.
Oh, yeah.
Three-fourths of the time.
You know how we got to go. All right. So moving on. Anyways. All right, JT, we're going to pull this up here real quick. Sorry, I'm not totally on it with the graphics yet. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Rookie.
Let's get in.
There you go.
Let's get into this. How do
Yeah,
you feel about losing 2 Thrope Award winners within 5 days of each other?
It's tough. I was just talking about my Packers have an issue in the secondary. My college team is going to have an issue in the secondary. So, yeah, so certainly a blow. I mean, I was really surprised because, I mean, you and I were talking during the game because you were watching on TV. I was in the stadium. Yes. You saw Jontez Williams go down, and you're like, oh, his season's done. There's no way. But I was like, he got off on his own power. He was on the sideline smiling.
Yeah,
joking.
and then he was in the camera face. So I think it was Williams a couple days ago said that he was in the stadium camera face multiple times after he went down and good spirits.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like, I wasn't really all that concerned about Jontez Williams, and then we just got hit with this bombshell that they tore his ACL. So I was really surprised by that. It's just a tough blow for the Cyclones. So
on top of losing Cooper 4 days before.
Yeah, on top of losing Cooper. So you've got a really young secondary out there. It sounds like Quentin Taylor Jr. is going to come in and be the starting cornerback opposite Trey Bell, who of course is the other new starting cornerback. So
the receiver Trey Bell, right? I watched the Arkansas State game and he looked like a receiver on that interception.
Oh yes.
So I would assume that's the receiver Trey Bell you're talking about.
So two pretty capable guys. I know that the coaching staff has been high on Taylor Jr. and certainly you still have those two two good safeties in Jamison Patton and Marcus Neal Jr. And then I think Kai John
back there as well.
And then Kai John Cummings Coleman, I believe, is okay to go. I think. Actually, no, he's out. I don't have the injury report in front of me. I think he might be out.
Oh, you know what?
You guys are out.
Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pull that. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick.
Yeah, so KCC there is out. So I think Van Vinter will probably start in his place. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel good about Neal and Patton back there, but I mean, I do feel confident about Quentin Taylor and Trey Bell, but obviously they're not Jeremiah Cooper and Jontez Williams. So I think tomorrow could be a pretty high scoring game.
Yes,
I think check that over. It could be a bit of a shootout.
Yep, we'll get into that here in a little bit.
So I guess you asked me what are your thoughts on losing these two cornerbacks?
Well, so initially I was pretty devastated. And your initial thought is the season's over. I mean, you lose 2 award-winning guys within 4 days of each other, and you feel like the brakes are falling off the bus. I think Williams made a good point the other day that Jontez Williams last year got his first start against Kansas and got absolutely dog walked against that defense. And that was, game 6 or 7 or 8 of the year. And you just thought there was no hope for him. And it took him maybe 5 games to figure it out. And then you can almost build backwards on how that secondary has been built for the last 5 years. I mean, you can look at Malik Verdon. You can look at Darian Porter. You can look at Anthony Johnson. You can look at guys that you don't even realize play football can come out and kind of make a name for themselves in a position that John Haycock with his defense continuously puts guys that, a lot of schools would say underperform at what they do and put them in positions where they can really thrive. A great example of that would be like a Will McDonald, who scored his first NFL touchdown on a punt block or a field goal block, excuse me, a couple weeks ago. I think he's got 5 or 6 sacks so far this year. Who was Jaquan Bailey? I honestly, with no information in front of me, I couldn't tell you if he's in the league anymore, but he was a culture changer for them on defense.
Isn't Jaquan Bailey the one that's like on a NASCAR pit crew now?
I think you might be right. I really think you might be. I think he's a tire changer.
Yeah, which is a very skillful athletic position. That's no shade.
Well, and it's not like
it's
not like it's a 20-second pit crew change anymore. It's they're in and out within 12 seconds. Actually, I think it's an F1. I think he's on an F1 crew. Regardless,
could be, yeah.
Don't matter.
But yeah, I mean, getting to your point, it's certainly
the
It's
athleticism.
been a next man up.
But they have put guys that should not be in the position that they're in position to succeed for the last 10 years. And
that's that next man up mentality. And you guys have always had that. You guys have had that since the Seneca Wallace days. You like the next man up mentality.
Yeah,
is the identity of Iowa State football.
They kind of lost that for a little bit, but it's. I mean, JT.
Just look at what the linebackers did last year.
Well, we've talked about it for years now. Outside of the public eye about. Iowa State just kind of turning guys into, they want guys that want to play football, and they'll put guys in position to succeed if they really want to succeed. Darian Porter was a wide receiver for 5 years, never saw the field, goes to the safety position, and guess what? Now he is the starting safety for the goddamn Oakland Raiders. And, it's really kind of different here because there's opportunities all over the country, and who's really going to believe in you, and we've harped on it since day one. Granted, I know this is episode 10. I should shout it out real quick. This is episode 10 of the Self-Made Sports Network Friday Night Live series. This is our 10th episode. We've been kind of harping on it for years. I'm going to call it years now. It seems like it's been years. Just like you said, the next man up mentality, and if you want, Iowa State will find a position to put you in to be able to play, be able to get on the field. And they're going to give you the best opportunity to succeed doing that. And I think they've shown it time and time again. Benny Ngoy is another guy who is transferring from a wide receiver within the program, offense to defense. And I think he's joined a list of about 4 or 5 guys now that have went from offense to defense to be able to see time on the field and have excelled. If you didn't know or you forgot, Bakes, Joel Lanning smoked Patrick Mahomes in college as a linebacking quarterback. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have live screen viewing with me being comfortable enough to be able to pull up a live screenshot of my own screen. But I'm pretty sure Joel Lanning threw for almost 500 yards against Texas Tech with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback at that time.
Well, what was Patrick Mahomes' stat? I'm sure he threw for a bunch that game too. Texas Tech was always having shootouts with everyone.
Well, it's
didn't
not,
they only score like 10 points that game, didn't they?
it's technically not a shootout when you only score 10 points.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah, but how many
72 to 10
shootouts
or
that
something
Texas
like that.
Tech is known for?
Yeah,
though?
no, usually, yeah.
Yes,
Fast
you
shootouts
guys
are
remember the Baker Mayfield Mahomes game, right? That nobody
Yeah.
knew who Mahomes was. I think everyone threw for 1,500 yards in that game.
Mhm.
I think Mahomes threw for like 634. I think Mayfield might have thrown for almost 700.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of bringing it back to the game. It's certainly a situation where there's going to be more pressure on the offense. Rocco Beck's gonna have to step up, and I think he probably knows that they're gonna need to outpace that defense. They're gonna need to outpace the opposing offense. It's going to be a battle of two offenses. It could be a shootout. I don't know. I mean, the over-under seems to reflect that Vegas thinks it's going to be a shootout. Williams certainly brought up the point that because of the injuries on defense, Iowa State could try to, kind of do what they usually like to do and kind of lock things up once they get a small lead. So I guess there's certainly a chance we could have a surprising under. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It sounds like Cincinnati has a really exciting, just like Iowa State. It sounds like Cincinnati has a really exciting
Here,
offense, but
let's use all
maybe not a
graphics
whole
here real
lot.
quick.
Not a whole lot on defense. It sounds like they don't get a whole lot of push up the middle. But yeah, it should be fun. 11 a.m. ESPN2, Clones and Bearcats. So that's a big matchup for Big 12 supremacy, because Cincinnati's just coming off of beating Kansas, which at the surface level I thought was kind of a surprising result. So this certainly isn't the Cincinnati that we've been having to deal with the past few years. It seems like that Cincinnati may have taken a little bit of a step here with Scott Satterfield, and certainly it's not the first time that this gentleman has played his former team, but Cincinnati's defensive coordinator Tyson Veit was a long-time John Haycock disciple, and
I was gonna say, I know
been
I
under
know-
Matt Campbell from the start. He was the
Yeah,
associate
I
head
know
coach
one
at
of
Iowa
their.
State.
I know one of their coaches is a longtime Iowa State disciple and has a big hand in the modern day the modern day 3-3-5.
The dime stack.
I wanna. We'll get back to this real quick. I want to hit you guys. I just found the stat line from this 66-10 win. This game was played on November 19th of 2016. JT, if you could put $100 on who you think the leading rusher for Iowa State that day was without cheating, who
For
do you think it would be?
Iowa State.
Who do you think it would be?
2016. Kenny Nwangu.
He was second on the team in rushing that day. 6 carries for 44 yards. I'll tell you, it was Joel Lanning. It was Joel Lanning. 17 carries for 171 yards and 5 touchdowns. You know who else carried the ball in that game for Iowa State?
Probably David Montgomery, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 11 carries for 31 yards. I'll give you a bonus question to get this $10 back. Who was the quarterback that day that threw most of the passes? Because Joel Lanning obviously threw passes before he decided to go play linebacker.
Would that have been Jacob Park?
Oh, man. All right. You got $10 coming your way. 14 for 18, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. How about this? How about
I
this?
forgot that
Who was the top receiver that
the
game?
top receiver that
I might
game.
have fucked it up by giving you a time span.
I have two names in mind. I think it's either Hakeem Butler or Alan Lazard. Is it one of those two guys? And
It
then you
was
pick
Alan
one.
Lazard, 7 receptions, 137 yards, and a touchdown.
Looking forward to that $10.
Well, you'll get it.
You don't need.
You'll
don't
get
need
it.
to
You'll
give
get it right after we get off the air. I'm a man of my word. I want to hold that
Okay.
down. Gentlemen, we're at an hour and 5 minutes. Bakes, do you want to get into Nebraska real quick? I don't have any Nebraska graphics, but why don't you tell us about what you guys got going on this weekend and what your thoughts are going into this game, and what do you think is on the line for the Huskers coming into this
Identity.
weekend, another home game?
Well, we'll go ahead and start off with what's on the line is identity. Are we going to take back-to-back losses? Are we going to bounce back and show some stuff? Do we got the juice? Can we produce? I think our quarterback has made that sophomore leap. And a lot of
I would
people
agree.
think you're going to have a sophomore slump. I feel like he's looking pretty nice. Offensive line didn't look so good against Michigan a couple weeks ago, but overall, I think we're looking to go ahead and win the game. I feel very confident we can win. Both teams are 3-1, so they both have a lot of proof this season, especially looking towards a college football playoff. You can't really lose too many more games for anyone. So I think. Do
you guys hold on before you keep going? I don't mean to cut you off, but do you guys do you guys have mandatory injury reports like the Big 12 does now, or is it kind of all coach speak?
I think everybody has to stand on the same standards when it comes to injury reports.
Well, the Big 12 has changed their mantra. That's why I was able to pull up that injury report for the Iowa State Cincinnati game. Is the Big 12, they now require their teams to produce an injury report. And I think a couple weeks ago, Utah has already tested the limits by basically claiming half their team is questionable. And I honestly think they might be facing a fine for doing that. So I think they're trying to get away, because if it were to be had that way, Matt Campbell would list all the RV slot owners as questionable to attend the game if he could. So I guess my question for you is, do you know for a fact that Danby is he good to go, or is it kind of still up in the air? And that's kind of really my main question is Danby going to be ready? Is he going to be out there ready to go, or is he kind of a wait and see type player?
Who did you say now?
Danby or Barney? I guess Barney.
Barney Jr.?
Yes.
Barney Jr. is a tough player. I think last year he didn't even have a drop. I mean, although this year he's had a drop or two, but I think Barney. To be honest with you, I haven't checked the injury report, but he's a player that wants to play. The kid's from Florida. He's pure speed. He's put on a lot of muscle.
He's good.
He's an X factor player.
If
he was in the right position on that Hail Mary, and he caught it and brought it in. That was an amazing play.
Yeah,
Barney Jr. Whatever name you were saying before, you were like throwing me off.
Yeah,
I
apologize.
I was like, we don't have one of those guys, but
that's
but
me
it's
doing.
Cool.
That's me doing half-ass research, but that's why I got you guys here to correct me on that and steer me in the right direction. You knew what I was trying to say. You knew what I was trying to say.
I just wanted to make sure, because I was like, he's talking about Danby.
I meant Barney. I meant
who's Danby?
Listen, we all loved Barney back in the day. That was our dog. The big purple dinosaur. That was our dog.
That is facts.
That was your guys' big dog, Barney.
Oh man, dude. My mom told me we went to a Barney on Ice show and I cried. And then I never wanted to watch Barney again after that. It was like I put him to rest at that point.
Interesting.
She loves to tell that story. I hope she's watching. She'll die laughing if she can see that. All
No,
right.
I think Barney Jr. is going to be ready to play. I think he'll
I
be
hope
ready to go.
so. You need to have him. Listen. So is your running game going to step up, or is it all going to be Is it all going to be Raiola trying to make some shit happen for himself? Like what?
The less Raiola runs is the best for the team. Like let's be honest. Doesn't have blazing speed. Yeah, did he put on a little more weight this year to sustain some hits? Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
But
but you can't have
I
him
don't,
out there
I,
taking
I,
them hits.
I don't want him scrambling like that.
Yeah,
And
no,
Michigan State is not Michigan.
no, absolutely not. No, there's a state. There's a listen. It's the JT. I hate to say it. It's the school from out east versus
out east.
the team out east. Yeah, there you go. Versus the central school, but it's roles reversed in the state of Iowa because I don't mean to remind anybody, but Iowa State is 3 of 4 against that other team from the state of Iowa. We're not going to say their name. I really like Campbell's approach. We're just not going to say your name, especially this week in a bye week. This is your moment to kind of get right back on the right path. I mean, 4-1 coming out. If you can get a win tomorrow, 4-1, you're right back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I most definitely. I look to see us score at least 28. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a defensive game. I think it's going to come down to whoever has more first downs.
You trust the black shirts?
I always trust my team, no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, Huskers all day. So I'm
But
kind of biased,
do
but
you trust the black shirts to get it
ultimately,
done though? Like,
I do, most definitely.
all right.
You guys are banged up. Do you trust your Hawks to get it done against Cincinnati?
Or what?
Not,
Or what?
not necessarily. The
Yeah.
Hawks. I mean,
Your
maybe
Cyclones.
maybe
There you
maybe
go.
some ball hawks, maybe some
Yeah.
ball hawks on the defense,
Yeah.
but
Exactly. You ask the gut rich questions. You guys are all banged up. You guys got 16 players out.
shit, dude. What are you gonna do if you lose 2 Thrope Award winners?
That is tough. But like I said,
well, hold on. Before you keep going, let me correct myself. 2 Thrope Award
Watch list.
winners. Thank you.
why you call them winners if they're just on the watch?
Because he doesn't know what he's saying.
That was a misspeak on my part. I can't have a couple of those in a live broadcast.
I have no beef with Iowa State, especially since we're not in the same conference anymore.
Well, I have to
you
love
are-
Nebraska because you love them and you're my brother and I love you and I live here. So if I'm not a Nebraska fan, like it's all bad for me. Nobody has fun.
I think it's important for Huskers to go out and bounce back from that Michigan loss. You can't lose to back-to-back Michigan teams. It's not going to look good for us. So I think we're going to go out and play confident, and I think it's going to show on the field.
JT, have you looked at the line for this game at all? Have you pulled it up while we've been sitting here talking about it?
I pulled it up, but I didn't look at the line. For the Nebraska game?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it here. It's a wow, Nebraska's favored by 12.5.
Interesting.
The ESPN analytics gives Nebraska an 86% chance of winning. Over/under is at 48.5.
So, Bix,
So it seems like Vegas thinks Nebraska's gonna roll.
With that information, what do you predict tomorrow for the score?
I'm going to go 28-14. Huskers.
I kind of
Sounds about
agree
right.
with that.
Yeah.
I guess the one last thing I got we'll pull up real quick is the money line and the spread for the state game tomorrow.
Yeah, this is an interesting one where you've got a ranked top 15 team on the road
On the road is
very,
on the
very
road is a
slight,
dog. On the road is a
very
dog.
slight underdog. I think very briefly, I believe Iowa State opened as a small favorite, but certainly
I think it was
Vegas
two and I think it
kinda
was
did its
two and a
thing.
half. They started it out
Yeah,
at
that
as,
sounds right.
and they dropped all the way to minus 2.5. A shout out to Chris Williams for calling this over under, jumping from where it started. If you could have got that over under at 51.5 at the beginning of this week, you could, if you would have put $1,000 on that, you are probably a millionaire after 2:30 tomorrow, because it's what does he call it? They say it's steamed
Yeah,
all the way
steamed
to
up.
55.5, and he was thinking it was gonna be 54.5. So
Yeah, so it
you
could
know,
be
they
a high
always
scoring affair out there in Ohio.
yeah, Bakes, we're gonna let you go first on this score prediction. I ain't got much for you after this. We'll find something fun to end it on. But what do you think the score will be tomorrow? And don't be afraid just because there's two of us staring you down to pick Cincinnati. I can't punch you through the screen, and if I could, you could probably end my life. So
I'm gonna go 24-16.
in favor
Iowa
of
State. Iowa
Okay.
State.
So you're taking the under. JT, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go second, and then
I'm gonna say
Ah,
31
thanks,
to
my wife.
28.
Heck.
31 to 28 Iowa State. Our boy Chase Smith gets a nice field goal in there.
What'd you say? 34 to 28?
31-28.
31-28.
That's hitting the over. Hitting the over Iowa State covers.
I think it's 41-31.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's a shootout tomorrow. I think it's nothing less than a
supposed to be a nice
shootout.
weather day in Cincinnati. Don't have to worry about any weather.
So there's a couple factors that are non-factors that I think are factors, which I'll give everyone a second to kind of digest that statement real quick. Rocco Becht, his 22-game passing touchdown streak ended last week. Granted, he had 3 rushing touchdowns with a 10 attempt, -9 rushing yard stat line. 10 attempts, -9 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also, with that stat line, was about a half yard away from throwing 3 touchdown passes. I think he forced that interception late last week, trying
that was
to
tough.
keep that streak alive, which, I mean, whatever, you're up 39 to, whatever at that point. So, I mean, that's how I play Madden. I don't know about y'all, but I don't kneel the ball or run the clock out when I'm up 39 to 14. I'm trying to score again to make it 45 to whatever. I think he kind of comes out with a vengeance. I am really excited to see what Chase Sowell can do with his newfound dominance. I think he could be a real game changer for them. 4 receptions, 146 yards last week. Should have had 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, his knees do not extend to the football, so he was short twice on the 1-yard line on deep passes that should have been touchdown passes. I haven't seen the lines for their numbers, but I would definitely take Sowell over whatever type of number they give and take him for 2+ touchdowns tomorrow. I'd take Becht for over 300 yards and at least 3 touchdowns. I think Bramer or Burkle has a touchdown. I think Iowa State just shoves it down their throat early. I wouldn't be surprised if you see another swinging gate play from them early again to assert dominance in the Big 12 to show everyone that they're not afraid of nothing. And they're not, because you're playing with house money at this point, as far as
Yeah,
I'm
and
concerned.
I guess one thing to consider. I don't know if you're able to quickly pull up that injury report again. There is still one
Yes.
piece of injury news that's outstanding, and that's the one guy listed as questionable for Cincinnati, Dante Corleone,
Yes.
who I guess has been described as basically the Dominique Orange of Cincinnati.
Do you have an update? It's past
No,
9
I
o'clock
don't
on
know.
Friday. See if you can pull that up real quick. I know Friday night at 9 o'clock is the last injury report they have to give, and he
Yeah, 'cause
is
obviously that'll be one.
he is basically Cincinnati's Dom Orange, and
He's
if Dom
still-
Orange
so
is
the Friday night injury report came out, and Corleone's still listed as questionable. Looks like the only difference in the injury report,
I
that
think
I'm
he's a game
seeing,
time decision.
they upgraded David Coffey on Iowa State side was removed from the injury report. Unsurprisingly, he was listed as probable. That's the only change that I am seeing. So yeah, it looks like Dante Corleone still questionable. So that'll that'll be one thing to really keep an eye on, those gambling lines, because now that the final injury report's out, we're really not going to get any news other than reading the lines, seeing what
Nope,
happens.
you're
there.
not going to see nothing until the game time broadcast. Really.
Yeah, so that's why I'd recommend kind of scouting those gambling lines. They'll
And
kind of tell
unfortunately,
the whole
JT,
story.
I hate to say it, with you not being in the stadium because it's a road game, is or at least I will not get any pregame updates on to what anything looks like. We're just going to
Yeah.
kind of have to take their word for it.
I'm sure the
on-
line will probably start moving in the morning. I'm sure word will get out sometime early this morning, early tomorrow morning, and then the lines will start to move depending
I guess-
on Corleone's status.
I guess the last thing I want to say is, can we all applaud the name Dom Corleone real quick?
Badass
How
name.
badass
I heard
of
they
a
call him
name that is, real quick.
I heard they call him
Big
the
Dom.
Godfather.
No, they
Oh,
most
call him
definitely
the
do call him the Godfather. Yeah, he had a lot
Yeah,
of
they call him
tackles
the
when he played Nebraska, and they kept calling him the Godfather.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
badass name.
Amazing
Yeah.
name. Mom and
Yeah.
Dad Corleone. Well, first of all, you cheated with that last name, but fantastic job.
I also like the name of
naming your
that
son.
linebacker there, Ronan Casanova. That's a badass name too.
Oh, that is a good
Yeah.
name. That is a good name.
So, yeah, we'll see if the Godfather is good to go for the Bearcats tomorrow.
All right, gentlemen. Well, Bakes,
What's up? What's up?
JT, do you want to say it and let Bakes do it, or do you want me to do it? And
I'm not saying that name. That'll always be you guys.
no. It's we're trying to, you know what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the show to an end. Do you wanna lead him into it and let Bakes in the show, or do you wanna do the regular back and forth?
I'm kind of confused on what you want me to do, so I'm just gonna let you take the wheel.
All right, Bakes. So what we do at the end of these shows is we're gonna need you to land the plane.
Oh, that's all you wanted me to say.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in and checking us out. Yeah, we are the Self-Made, the Labels Music's sports network, brought to you by Hybrid Promotions. I want to say thanks again for everybody who viewed in. God bless you. Good night.
Absolutely. JT,
Peace. See you
make
kids
sure you
later.
have a good day tomorrow. Make sure that everything is safe, and let's pray for some wins.
Go Clones.
Go Huskers.